Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to the No Brush Challenge. I am Teresa from Teresa's Spot for Art, where I love showing off my heart and teaching you how to create a little joy in your life through some fun, quick, and simple art projects. This is the No Brush Challenge with the Common Canvas, hosted by Corey from Creative Roots Art by Corey. So I'm going to turn you guys around, and we are going to get started. I would have a canvas and a bunch of CRAP. I got some bubble wrap. I got a piece of cardboard. I got some denim. I got plastic tools, a palette knife, a makeup sponge. I got all kinds of stuff. First thing I'm going to do is take this round artist sponge and I'm going to wet it. I don't want to get it soaked. That's why I'm dipping my fingers in this dirty paint water. I don't want to get it soaked, but I want to get it damp. This keeps the sponge from soaking up way too much paint, and it helps your paint move a little bit. I have my paint out here, and I have some white, which I'm going to pick up the white first on my sponge. I'm going to get it on there. Then I'm going to pick up a little bit of dark blue on one side and a little bit of this peacock blue on the other side. So now I have all three colors on my sponge, and I am going to start my background, and I'm swirling in circles. Look how fast that goes on. Look at all that texture. I'm going to pick up some dark blue again. Look how fast it goes on, and look at all the hues and the values and the texture I have on here. Isn't that awesome? I'm going to dip back into my white and my peacock, and I'm going to go back to my canvas. This has got to be one of the fastest ways to do a background with a little artist sponge like that. I don't want to overblend, so sometimes you just have to say sponges down. And now I'm going to do the sides. Look at this. How quick is that? Sometimes I forget a side. Believe it or not, right? There's 4 sides. How do you forget doing one? Okay, and I got my sides done. Spread that in there a little bit. And there is my background. What did that take me? All of like a minute? I don't even know. Okay, I'm going to wipe this off here on my... I started keeping like a little like ratty piece of paper here to wipe my brushes off on so my water doesn't get real yucky. And I'm going to actually put my sponge in water because if my sponge dries, it'll get crusty. So I want to keep it wet until I can clean it. Oh, but no brush, and I put my sponge in the water. That's a little dark. Okay, fixed it. So I'm going to grab my dryer. I need my background to be nice and dry before we move on to the next steps. Now I'm going to continue working on my background to make it a little bit more interesting and show you guys how I use all this CRAP. All right. So let's start with this. So I'm going to get this little piece of bubble wrap. Okay. I'm going to get my palette knife. I'm going to put a little bit of my palette knife in this yellow paint, and I'm going to get it on this bubble wrap here. All right. And now I'm just going to start randomly with my bubble wrap. Okay, I'm trying to make a really fun and textured background. Okay. Then I'm going to wipe off my palette knife, and I'm going to get a little bit, you know what, I'm going to put a little bit of this only dark blue on my cardboard here. And this is the cardboard. You have to separate the 2 pieces, get the corrugated part from the inside. All right, so I took my palette knife, I put a little bit of that dark blue, and now I'm going to use this as a stamp, and I'm going to add a little bit of this, and I can put more paint on it, but I like the effect I'm getting just by, I'm going to put more paint now, but I like how that looked. And now I'm going to add a little bit more to it. Wipe off my palette knife and just put a little bit more. Okay? Maybe a little bit there too. All right. Now I have this seam on my denim, but this was, I think, pants that I took apart for some reason. I don't remember why. And I'm going to get this green here. This is lime green. And I'm going to put this lime green paint on the seam of these, what's left of these denim pants. Just using my palette knife, spreading it on here. And because I'm using the knife, it's only getting on the high spots, so that itself is making a lot of texture, as opposed to using a brush where I get a lot of paint on there. And again, we're going to use this like a stamp. I put my finger in some of it. That's okay. Let me get that cleaned off. And look how, what's that? Get that off of there. Look how cool that is. This would probably need more paint. Yep. So I'm going to come back. A little bit more green paint on my palette. Pick up my palette knife. Scrape the paint on here. And now none of this is perfect, you guys. Far from it. This is just fun. This is what I call junk art. Not to be confused with junk journaling, but I guess it's almost, you could use it like the same thing, right? Get that all on there nice. Clean off my palette knife. And then put these seams on here a little bit more. You want to press them down. Just make sure that when you press it down, you don't move it too much. Okay. If you move, you're going to get smudges. Okay. So then I have the fork. And I'm going to dip the fork in this white paint. It's a plastic fork. And I'm just going to make marks. How cool is that? Some of it's picking up the paint from the bottom. Some of it's staying nice and bright white. You could do as many or as few of these as you want. I'm leaving the inside fairly open, and you're going to see why. But it's cool to just get stuff from around your house and try it. Okay? I'm going to get my dryer again for this layer. You can even use a plastic knife if you wanted to. I'm just going to get the edge of this plastic knife in my peacock blue, and I'm going to scrape it on here. It's very subtle, but it's also now scraping through. I can scrape through the fork marks that I made, and that looks really cool. Okay, and again, this is just the background. We're going to get to it. I pulled out some stencils here because I just want some hearts and a little fun stuff. So I'm going to tape off part of this stencil. I'm going to tape off these words. I'm going to tape off this scroll here because I don't want those. I need a little bit of, I'm going to use, what is this? Dragon fruit? I can use dragon fruit. I want my hearts to really pop. I'm just going to put out a little bit of that dragon fruit there. I have my makeup sponge, and I'm just going to start adding hearts. So I'm going to load my makeup sponge. I'm going to come over to my paper and pounce it off. And then I'm going to add some hearts. The trick to stenciling is very light coats. I'm going to pick up a little bit more paint. The lighter the coats, you should not have any bleeds. Look at that. And again, this is your art. You can put as many or as few as you want. This is supposed to be fun. This is supposed to be creative. Just picking up stuff that you may have around your house and adding it to a surface. Now I'm going to take my stencil. When I do stenciling, I keep a tin right next to me, and I put it right into the warm soapy water. Now I have, this one has a few little stars on it. Let me find a good place to tape it off. I think I can tape it off here and here. And we'll work with these two stars down here. I'm just going to use this sponge again. I'm going to dip it in some of the dark blue. I'm going to pounce it off. And I'm going to add some of these stars. I'm actually going to pick up a little bit of this pink and the blue. See if I can get a little bit of a purple into it. Maybe there we go, very, very pale purple. I have my palette knife, which I can actually use as a palette knife if I wanted to. I can pick up some white here with my palette knife and come in and scrape it. I can pick up the dark blue on my palette knife and scrape it. I can pick up some of the green. I'm going to turn this around and now scrape it. I love how these colors look together. And you can put as much or as a little bit on here as you want. I mean, I could do this probably, you know, for the next 2 hours if I wanted to just keep going and going and going. I have more stencils. I save stuff like this was like packing from something. I save this and use that as a stencil. I have this scraper, which works similar to a palette knife, but a little different. I'll show you. I'm going to pick up a little bit of this, the peacock, and a little bit of the white right there, both on the tip. I'm going to come up here on the corner. I'm going to hold it at a 45, and I'm going to pull. We'll do a little bit more. I'm going to get a little bit of the peacock, a little bit of the white, right there on the tip of this. You can use a credit card or business card for this too. You just want to make sure that your business card stays nice and stiff. I'm going to come over here on a 45, and I'm going to scrape. It makes those really cool shapes. Okay. Let me get the dryer again, and then we're going to get into why I even started this to begin with. This is a continuation of my word of the year. I have cut this. I don't know that you can see it. Let me see it. Can you see it now? I've cut this reusable stencil out. It says quest. It is my word of the year because I am on a quest this year in 2025 to learn 3 new art techniques: Procreate, lettering, and palette knife. So that is my quest this year. I am determined to learn a little bit each week, and I'm going to have this word plastered everywhere. I'm going to put it down here on a diagonal across this canvas just because I want to. And I'm going to tape it down a little bit here, and I'm going to tape it down a little bit here. 2 reasons I'm taping where I'm taping: so I don't go off the stencil where the letters are kind of close to the edge, and so it doesn't move, and where my paint underneath is really, really dry. I'm going to take my makeup sponge and my scissors. I'm going to clip off this end that I used already so it's nice and fresh and clean under there. Throw that away. Then I think I'm going to do this in black because I want it to really stand out. I'm going to load my brush, but then I'm going to come over here and I'm offloading it. And I'm going to come to my stencil. Nice light coats. I'm going to go back to my offload a little bit. Sometimes the first coat I do is barely noticeable. That's how thin my first coat is when I stencil. You don't want to apply a lot of pressure, and you want to use less paint. I'm a little bit more concerned with my lettering than I was with my hearts and my stars. This is junk art, but I didn't care if my hearts and stars bled a little bit. I was very lucky with my hearts, but I want my letters to be nice and crisp. After all, I am on a quest. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do. Don't forget to watch the playlist. There are so many talented creatives in this YouTube collab hosted by Corey from Creative Roots Art. And if you can give us all a subscribe and a like and a comment, that would be great. We would really, really appreciate it. We love the support and it helps grow our YouTube channels. And when you subscribe to my channel and others, you'll be notified. I'm gonna move that little piece of tape out of the way. When anybody uploads a new video, so you won't miss anything. Okay, I think that's good. I'm gonna just ready. Pick it up. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. So I'm going to, even though this is a reusable stencil that I made, I am going to actually put it in the water. This way I can clean it off as well, because I hope to be using this a lot this year. Okay, and then last but not least, and this can be a little messy, I'm going to show you what we can do with the toothbrush. Everybody's saying, why is she got a toothbrush there? This can be messy. I'm going to move my shirt in front of me so I don't get it all over my overalls. And I'm going to dip my brush in some water. So I got my brush wet. And then I'm going to put it in a little bit of the white paint. Okay? Then I'm going to come over here. I'm going to do it on the paper first. With my finger underneath, I'm going to pull on the bristles. Now I'm going to come to my art. And I'm just spraying a little bit of paint. I don't know, let me get a little bit more paint. I'm going to come over here to the paper and then come back to this. And it's getting a little bit, almost with my quest, it kind of looks like stars or the Milky Way. Let me put that, let me hold it up so you can see. See how I have those little specks, the mist of white paint on my letters? So there you have it. Let me turn you guys around. My CRAP art with no brush. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you next time.